This is Operative Oz. I am suited up and I'm preparing to enter the gateway. Arming my weapon. I'm approaching the gateway now. Okay, I'm through. There appear to be hostile creatures everywhere. Opening fire. What I'm seeing seems to look a lot like the world, but everything's eroded, everything is decaying. Found some kind of book. Biology, property of Barb Holland. There seems to be, I think there's something else in here. Oh my gosh, what is that? It's giant. There's some kind of giant monster in here. You know what? No, I'm checking out of this. I'm checking out. I don't get paid enough to investigate this place. What was that? Jeez, I should have taken that job as an animal handler at Jurassic Park. Jeez. God, I quit. What is up, dudes, dudettes, and dudes who defy description? And a toasty hot warm welcome and a happy Halloween to everybody as we begin another episode of Awesome Fun in Minecraft with me, Oz. It's nice to be back with you, and I hope you like my Halloween mask. I'm actually going to take it off because I'm about to switch to first person. And yeah, no, I know it's scarier. It's scarier when I have it off. Now, we are here in the house that we built in the last episode, the Byers household from Stranger Things, where we have been trying to communicate with the Upside Down, but we're going to do one better than try to communicate with those in the Upside Down. We're actually going to create an Upside Down universe ourselves, and we're better to do that than here at Castle Byers. Now, before I began today's episode, I have done a bumload of preparation. I down this deadly hole that I'm always terrified to fall down in case I clip the edge. No, I did it. I fell down. I have created... Well, actually, I feel is something of a masterpiece. Look at the size of this hole here. This is crazy. This is our canvas upon which we are going to paint the Upside Down. Now, I'm not going to lie, it took a little while to prepare an area this size. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, this looks pretty dark, so let me just show you. Oh, half drink. Look at everything that's here. It looks insane. I mean, look at the zombie all the way right up at the top there. Look, it's absolutely massive. Let me show you from the other side. Hello, can you see me over there? And this is just some of the stuff that I have collected in excavating out this area here. And it's not even, this is just a fraction of it because I let most of it despawn. But I know what you want to see is, Oz, how many sexy ores did we get from this? And the answer is a lot. We got 46 stacks of diamond ore, all of this iron, coal, lapis, all of this redstone. Look how many mobs I had to kill in the process of doing this. Even got a cheeky record at one point as well, along with more and more and more stuff here. This chest never even got filled in the end, but look at all of these mobs. So let me tell you what our plan is for this place today. So our plan is to create an area where you fall down here, where you fall into the Upside Down. We're going to turn this into a kind of corridor, probably like a science-y kind of corridor, a bit like the Hawkins lab people. So we'll create this like a kind of technological thing here that comes here, and then we'll have a little, maybe an end portal to act as the sort of portal that they cut through to get into the Upside Down. Then when we come into the Upside Down here, at the back, we're going to have a massive version of the Mind Flayer from Season 2, that big kind of spidery creature, along with lightning flashing down behind it. And we're maybe going to create a glass screen. Now, this is going to involve a lot of experimentation. A kind of glass screen that's hopefully going to be kind of blurring up so we can see what we see behind there, and then we're going to have an exit out one of the ways for when you get too freaked out by the Upside Down and flee. Now, I've got no idea, to be honest, how I'm going to decorate this. A lot of it's going to have to be sort of seeing how it goes. So I would say that the first part of today's episode, the first part of today's episode is that we're going to build the Mind Flayer in place first to give us an idea of the size and scope. I've built a sort of test version of it in my creative world, but a lot of it I'm going to, a bit like a sculptor, I'm going to see what happens when I actually sculpt it in. We're going to start by putting the Mind Flayer in, then we're going to put the lightning in behind it. I've just been waiting for you to decide to come. Right, okay. And we're going to put some lightning in behind it there. We're going to have the Mind Flayer, and we're going to put that in first. We're going to put buildings and things in front of it. If you know, there's a famous sort of image of it from Stranger Things Season 2. That's what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do after I actually briefly clear out all of this stuff and take it back to put in storage is create the Mind Flayer. And we're going to do that, how else, but in the form of a time-lapse, as you know in the comments. Someone did mention, yes, I am obsessed with them now. They are the greatest. So let's have a little time lapse and build ourselves a scary Mind Flayer monster. Okay, hit it. Okay, welcome back. Now I've got a little bit bad news for you here. Unfortunately, there was a problem with the time lapse. I think it's sometimes I let them run too long, and it seems to have problems, I don't know, saving, rendering, whatever it is. And so I didn't get a chance to time-lapse it. It did take a while to build this Mind Flayer. But anyway, let me spin around and let you have a look at this baby. There we go. There is our Mind Flayer. Oh, yes. Now, one thing I must tell you is, I actually am starting to think it's a really bad idea to practice building things in creative mode, because building something like what's behind me in creative mode isn't actually that difficult. It doesn't even actually take that long, because it's so easy when you can fly around all over the place. You can zoom into something, you know. You can, fly away, look at it from further away, fly back up, knock a block here, knock a block out there, add one here, take one away there. But when you're trying to do something like this in survival mode, it is so difficult. It's so difficult to get to the right place, to know that you're even placing things in the right place. Yeah, and that's why it probably doesn't look anything like my creative mode. And these mobs have not left me alone the whole time. And I actually had to cover the Mind Flayer here in a lot of carpet just to stop mobs from spawning. And this is going to be a challenge through the entire build, because I don't want to cover this entire place in carpet. It's not the palette that I've got in mind. Neither do any of the slabs fit in with the palette that I've got in mind. But I do not want these mobs anywhere, because they're ruining the effect. So that's the big challenge. Now, the next thing that we're going to be trying to do is add in a lightning effect behind this Mind Flayer here. And the reason that I want to do that is, if you have a quick look at this bit of video here. Now, in this video here, this is in my creative test world. It's amazing seeing them side by side. The Mind Flayers don't even look similar. But this, it's a bit annoying because, yeah, I should have filmed it, of course, with, whatchamacallit. I should have built it not on desert, so it was easier to see. But then, even with the rain, you can't really have the thunder and lightning without rain. But look what the effect is when the lightning flashes behind the Mind Flayer. That is awesome, the way that looks there. And I want to recreate that right here. So to do that, I'm going to have to do a bit of redstoning magic. And what's really funny is I really don't know anything about redstone. I'm not very good at redstone. And I tried to look up some tutorials on how to do a lightning effect with with redstone, and there were no tutorials, so I did have to figure it out myself. So I did manage to do this. I'm going to do a separate tutorial on how I did it. So what we're going to do now is add in some lightning behind our Mind Flayer. Now, that might be in the form of a time lapse, if a time lapse appears after I finish speaking. If it just cuts back to when it's done, you'll know the time lapse didn't work. So let's get on with some lightning effects. And we're back again. Now, yep, I know what you're saying, Oz. There was no time lapse there either. No, there was not a time lapse. Now this time it's not because the time lapse didn't work. It's because I didn't work. Okay, I think I made a little offhand comment earlier about how I was gonna, make a little tutorial about how to make this lightning redstone thing. But I think somewhere when I let you see this redstone one, yeah, I had a lot of problems making it, even though I'd already made it in a test world. And somewhere Mumbo Jumbo is, his eye is probably twitching. in his soul is probably scarred by the thought of somebody who has done something as terrible in Redstone as I have here today. But we have got our 2 bolts of lightning that are striking down here. And I've had a few difficulties in it that didn't come up in the creative test world, but let me show you my disgusting redstone that we've got going on here. So the idea is to, of course, have these 2 different bolts of lightning striking down here behind our Mind Flayer. That's the idea. And here's my redstone, and it is disgusting. There's red. Look at the redstone. It's absolutely everywhere. But let me explain the theory of how this works for you. Right, up at the top here of both of our bolts of lightning, we have what's called an etho hopper clock, and I'll leave a link to how you make this in the description. I think it's a really cool piece of redstone that you've got here. It's basically hoppers have items in them, and they swap the items back and forth, and this causes this block to switch back and forth, which is what turns the lightning on and off. But what you'll notice about the lightning, right, if we come a little bit further away, is that it sort of works fine. Jesus, mobs everywhere. I'm going to be careful. No, go away. Do not destroy my beautiful creation, creeper. Nor you. I can tell you're about to get in on it. Right. You can see that when we have the lightning here, it works fine. Like the lightning comes on, it goes off, and it comes on and off in the right sequence. It starts from the top like the lightning would, and it strikes down at the bottom, and it goes off, and that's fine. And it works fine on the other side as well. I had to put in more of a... Where am I? More of a delay than I had previously. It stays on for a little bit longer than I thought, but when you come a bit further back, I don't know if this is just because I'm not that familiar with the redstone or redstone thing. Maybe if anybody knows, you can let me know in the comments. It doesn't look like it's coming on in sequence when you see it further away. It looks like, if you stare at this bit here, it looks like this bit comes on before all the other bits. It doesn't come on and off in the right sequence when you're further away, but when you get close to it, it's absolutely fine. I really don't understand it because I really don't understand redstone that well. But we have our 2 lightning bolts that are going on here, and of course the redstone lamps, which isn't quite the right texture that I was hoping for. So I'm going to see how this develops. Maybe I'll sort of half cover it up with blocks, or we'll see what happens as we develop the rest of it there. But Mind Flayer looks pretty awesome, and I just hope that when this video comes out on YouTube, you can actually see this, because when I look at it on my screen, it's fine, it's quite clear, but I know that YouTube darkens videos, so I'm just worried this is just going to be a big dark mess. But maybe that sort of helps a little bit. But what our next plan in the development of the upside down is to start filling in blocks in the background here, because we don't want it to look like this, the upside down, the sort of standard block palette here. No, not today, thanks. And this is the block palette that I'm going to use for the upside down. We've got loads of sea coral blocks that are, of course, going to be dead coral. That's going to be pretty cool. We've got grey concrete. We've got soul sand. We've got a little bit of this grey terracotta. We've got some mycelium, and then I think the mycelium and these 2 nether rack and nether quartz ore blocks are going to be our palette for decorating the outside of the cave. So our next step here is to throw in some buildings around well, maybe just probably one building that's going to be kind of quite small there, just to make this thing look even bigger. I think there was like a telegraph pole over here in the picture that I know as well, so we're going to throw that in, and then we're going to start covering this area in our block palette that we've got there to start making this place look a bit more upside downy. Then once I've done all of that, I'm going to do a couple of tests, and we'll see what it looks like when we put in some glass in front. How much glass? Because I know when you basically put some layers of glass panes, you get this kind of foggy effect, and I'm thinking of putting that in front of the Mind Flayer here, in front of the building. So maybe I'll start around about here, and we'll see what that looks like. So it's not really an area for interacting with, it's more sort of just an area for viewing. So you're kind of going to be able to stand here, see our scary Mind Flayer, and hopefully that's going to be pretty cool. So this time we are for sure going to have a time lapse. 100% promise we're going to have a time lapse, and I cannot tell you how happy I am that we are going to not have to do any more redstoning nonsense. just the idea of placing lots of blocks right now is so appealing. So let's take down our scaffolding from making our lightning bolts. Sound like a skelly? Yep. Thought I heard you. Just landed down there, and we have to do something to keep these mobs a bit more under control in the Upside Down, because the Upside Down is full of scary monsters, but not these types of scary monsters. So they're just not welcome, and I'm sure you're going to see me killing a lot of them in the time lapse. So for the first time this episode, after the third promise, basically, this is going to for sure be a time lapse. So I hope you folks enjoy. Yay, we finally managed to do a time lapse. I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy. So let me show you what we've been up to here. I did have to cut a few little bits out of the time lapse because some of the things I just couldn't get a good angle on. Now, the first thing you'll notice is our original palette, it didn't work quite as much as I hoped. What worked so well, and I just think this is so beautiful, even though it's all dead coral, is that the soul sand and the grey concrete didn't work. It looked weird. So in the end, I just went all with dead coral, and that involved, this has taken many IRL days and quite a few trips to the coral reefs to harvest loads and loads of coral from there to make this upside down thing. And it just looks wicked, especially actually with the night vision potion. I've put it on to make sure you see it because, as I said earlier, I am concerned that we're potentially going to lose some of the magic of this, that it's not going to look the way it looks on my screen when you see it in YouTube. It's going to look a bit darker, but look at this place. It is very upside downy and so otherworldly. It looks wicked. I'm so happy. And we've got a few more things that I think we're going to do. Some of the things I've done to control mobs is I have put down carpets on here, on some of the upper ledges and things, and you'll see it has worked. Of course, once I take away these torches here, it's going to be a different story on the ground floor there. But I think it's something we're going to have to live with because I don't want to ruin this beautiful pattern by doing that. So I think when it comes to the final viewing of it, we'll be taking out all of these torches. But yeah, it's looking absolutely wicked. And I wanted to share a moment that happened during the construction of this with you, and a bit of a tip. If you take a look at this clip here, basically I was flying at one point and I flew down into here and got stuck completely surrounded by bedrock. Every Minecrafter's nightmare. No matter how many fireworks I set off, I could not fly myself out of this hole. And this is a top tip for you, why you must always keep water with you. It was a bucket of water that I managed to pour, and I had in my inventory, pour out, and I managed to eventually, with a lot of smashing and spamming the keys, I managed to swim out of here eventually and escape. You'll see me just about to escape. I thought it was like, how, I don't even know what to do here. I don't even know how to even kill myself. I'm about to starve myself to death, but I got out eventually. So that's a top tip for you, and why you should always ensure that you have a bucket of water with you. It is the lifesaver of Minecraft. So what we're going to do in our next section here now is we're going to have to get ourselves an entranceway that I'm going to make, as I mentioned earlier, a bit like a sort of lab-like entranceway, like the Hawkins lab, where we enter into the upside down. We're going to come through, I think I said end portal somehow in the beginning. Words are sometimes not my thing. It's a nether portal that you're not going to go through the portal, you're going to go through the portal, if you understand what I mean. And we're also going to have, probably over here, an exit that's going to eject us out into the real world, maybe somewhere around about here too. So I am going to go and get on with doing the entrance, the exit, and I think I'd also like to maybe fill this area out with a few dead trees, maybe some acacia trees. I'll give us the kind of tone that we're looking for, not with the leaves, just with the trunk of the tree itself, and that's going to create for us a wicked environment. So I'm going to get on with those things, and I'll see you back once they're done. Dudes, dudettes, and dudes who defy description, it is done. I have finally completed our upside down, and I stand here in our corridor that connects Hawkins lab to the upside down through this portal here. Now I have to warn you of something before I go through the portal. I have taken out all the torches to give you the full effect, but the upside down has now become an epic mob farm, so I'm going to have to run in there really fast. I've got a night vision potion that I'm going to put on to try and show you a bit better, but the first thing I want to show you when we run in is that I have changed the lightning in the back. I've used item frames and our white maps, right, to make the lightning white lightning, as you can see there, but there is so many mobs in this place. So that is the lightning in the background there that I'm going to show you there. Now, to show you the rest of it, I'm going to run back through here. And the good thing about the portal is nothing can get through it to catch me. Because anything that chases me just ends up in the nether, and I'm going to be scared to go to my nether in future. But here's our potion of night vision, so you can fully enjoy the magic of this place. So this is all going to have to be done really fast, because things have already been blown up by creepers several times, and they have destroyed so much of what I've done. So behind our Mind Flayer, as I say, I've upgraded the lightning. Here we've added Barb, the body of the body of Barb that you can see over there. If you saw it in the very quick run past there, they're all fighting amongst themselves now. This is insane. And then I've done an exit that leads us out back into the real world, which I cannot wait to go. So if you come through here, this leads you back into another sort of connecting exit port. Ow! Stop shooting me! Leave me alone! Another exit portal here. This is just insanity. That then takes you up here through a bubble column. I took so much damage. And out into where the exit is. And I've designed it in a tree, just like in Stranger Things, if you remember, when they go in and out of the upside down by going through the trunk of a tree. And actually, with the night vision potion, this just even looks that much more epic. So that was our entry and our exit. Sorry, it was a very quick tour there, but it is exceptionally dangerous place. But I am so happy with how everything turned out. Our Mind Flayer, our upside down, it's been a huge project. I think it's taken me about 2 weeks of IRL time to complete this project, but it has been absolutely awesome fun, as always. And so thank you very much for joining me for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the construction and building of the upside down, to complement, of course, our Stranger Things buyer's house build. And so all that remains for me to do is to say, don't forget to do all the YouTubey things, you know what they are, and of course to say thank you very much for spending time watching this video. I really appreciate all the time you take checking this thing out, and I'll see you next time for some more awesome fun in Minecraft. And of course, as you can see with our pumpkin zombie that's just hanging out in the background over there, he and I, of course, are wishing you a very happy Halloween. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.